The episode begins in Queens, New York, when Peter Parker wakes up late for his first day at school. He quickly runs out to chase after the train, but it has already left when his Aunt May drives by, wanting to give him a ride. On the way over, Peter is excited to be accepted at Midtown High, which has the best robotics program in the country. He claims it's nice to have something to distract after what happened to his Uncle Ben. A rift opens when they arrive at school, and an alien creature falls from the sky. It tries to attack the students, but Dr. Strange shows up and uses the spell, the Chains of Kraken, to hold it down. He briefly gets distracted when he discovers they ended up in New York, to which the alien breaks free and tries to attack him. It kept attacking him, breaking through walls, but Dr. Strange casts the Shield of Seraphim to block it. Initially, he was confident that the spell was impenetrable, but the alien slowly broke through his spell. While he keeps the alien creature busy, he orders the Cloak of Levitation to check if there are still civilians nearby who need help. The alien then throws a truck at him, but Dr. Strange phases through it and uses time magic to prevent it from destroying the building. When he turns his back, the alien catches him off guard and sends him flying, to which the cloak catches him in the air. The alien quickly turns its attention to one of the students, and Peter distracts it long enough for Dr. Strange to capture it. Dr. Strange then returns to the rift, pulling the alien back into it. But little did they know that an alien spider passed through without them noticing. When the portal closed, it fell onto Peter's clothes. Peter goes to check on the student, who introduces herself as Nico Minoru, when Peter suddenly faints after being bitten by the spider. He briefly saw the spider climb into a student's backpack before losing consciousness. Months have passed, and Peter appears to have developed powers. Seeing he is waking up upside down, he rushes to school but misses the train again, so he goes into an alley to change into his superhero outfit and web sling towards Bales High. He initially thought he'd arrive early for once when he witnessed some thugs trying to rob a guy. The guy nearly got hit by a truck trying to escape the thugs if not for Spiderman, who pulled him to safety. When they think they have lost the thugs, they chase them into an alley and make fun of his costume. They tried ganging up on him, but Spider-Man easily defeated them and strung them up for the cops to be apprehended. The guy is grateful for him and wants to repay him for saving his life, but Spider-Man tells him to consider it a good deed from their friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Peter sneaks into class at school, but the teacher notices him and reprimands him for being late again. Nico makes fun of him, claiming he could win the award for imperfect attendance. Peter bumps into his childhood crush, Pearl Pangan, at school. Nico notices his awkward behavior, and Peter admits that he's had a crush on her since then. Back in the day, she lived in his building, so when his aunt and uncle would go out, they asked Pearl to babysit him. Peter worries that Pearl still sees him as a kid, so Nico suggests that he tell her his feelings while he still has the chance. During class, Peter hears police sirens and asks the teacher if he can go to the bathroom. He quickly shows up at the scene where the cops are engaged in a car chase with criminals. Peter tried to hit the van with his web but kept missing as it was moving. He eventually shoots a webbing at the back of the truck and pulls it to stop, but the bumper gets torn off. The driver gets knocked out from hitting his head on the steering wheel, and the van drives straight into an oncoming bus. Peter quickly jumps between them and stops the van from crashing into the bus. The citizens see his heroic deed and cheer him on, but when the cops show up, he quickly escapes. Feeling all that adrenaline, Peter finally finds the courage to tell Pearl his feelings, but Nico stops him when a man approaches Pearl, who appears to be her boyfriend. During class, Peter is still shocked by it, and complains about what Pearl sees in Lonnie Lincoln for him to be her boyfriend. Their teacher tells them they will split up into pairs for upcoming projects. Peter thought this would be his chance to pair up with Pearl, but Lonnie surprisingly asked their teacher if he could pair up with him instead. Peter quickly assumed that Lonnie would be slow in studying, but was surprised when Lonnie could catch up to his thinking. He wonders why he chose him. and Lonnie explains that Pearl kept saying how smart he was and wanted to see for himself. Since then, Peter has had a newfound respect for Lonnie, but still aches when he sees him with Pearl. Little do they know that Lonnie walks the long way back home while trying to put up with racial discrimination because of the color of his skin. That night, Peter patrols the city and captures a thief who stole from the cash register at a local pizza restaurant. The criminal is brought before the owner and suggests he be lenient on her, given that she seemed remorseful. The pizza owner takes his advice and lets her go, claiming that what's important is that he got the money back. In exchange for his good deed, he gives him a pizza. On the way back, he finds a DVD player in an alley thrown out and takes it home with him. He was surprised that a fancy car was parked outside their building when Norman Osborn showed up in his apartment. Peter is surprised to see Norman Osborn, one of New York's elites, in his apartment. He wonders why he's there, to which Norman explains that he has been doing research with local schools. Looking at available academic records, he was greatly impressed seeing Peter's files at Bales High. Seeing him excel at advanced junior and senior level science courses, Norman claims he wants that potential working at Oscorp, offering him an exclusive internship. May worries that it would interfere with Peter's regular schooling, but Norman reassures them that it would be strictly extracurricular. Peter accepts his offer, telling him to show up at Oscorp Tower after school tomorrow. The next day, Peter catches a criminal on the roof, taking pictures of a woman punching in her alarm code. He pins him to the wall and leaves him for the cops to arrive while he heads for school. When he arrives, he finds Lonnie and the football team doing their ritual before a big game, rubbing the championship trophy and making awkward bird sounds in the hall. Lonnie invites him to watch, but he worries that he won't be able to stay since it is his first day of the internship. Nico worries he's working for Norman Osborn, claiming nobody gets that scary rich without doing shady stuff. Still, Peter reassures her he seems like a nice guy when he meets him. Pearl overhears their conversation and is excited for him. At Oscorp, the guard makes it difficult for him, claiming that he should have been 15 minutes earlier so they could take his ID photo. He quickly meets other interns, Asha from Wakanda, Amadeus from the Lower East Side, and Jean, who is from Long Island. Later, Dr. Whitman meets them and explains that he will oversee them through their internship. He describes how each of them has shown great aptitude for their age. Before they start, Whitman gives them different tasks to complete to see if they can measure up to a real laboratory environment. Seeing them accomplish their tasks, Whitman sends Asha to Aerospace Technologies, Jean Foucault to the Quantum Computation Think Tank, and Amadeus Cho to be selected for Oscorp's Robotics Department. Worried that he wasn't selected, Whitman asks Carla Connors to introduce herself as the Energy Research Division head. Carla Connors informs them that they will be trying to create a new self-sustaining battery like the Stark Arc reactor for their project. He confides in her, worried that he initially thought it wouldn't be fun after hearing Whitman orient them to the job. Connors explains that Whitman is the type who treats his work like competition and claims that he didn't need to think like him to become a good scientist. Having finished their first day, Nico calls Peter and explains how they were invited to a party when the Ravens won their match. At first, Nico hesitates, but Peter insists and tells her he'll meet her at the party. Waiting for their last review before their day ends, Peter hangs out with the other interns when he sees the news of a burning building near them. Peter quickly springs into action and makes an excuse about wanting to look for the bathroom. He then changes into his outfit at a stairwell when no one is looking. While the cops vacate the building and the arsonist burns everything, Peter shows up as Spiderman. Peter claims that he needs to focus on evacuating civilians first, before dealing with the arsonist, but Butane informs him that he made sure it was empty before burning the building down. Butane tries to attack him, but Peter keeps dodging them. He explains how developers hired him to burn the whole block down so they could buy it back for cheap. When he claims this would be the future site of 52nd Street's newest luxury high-rise, Peter informs him that they are on the 51st. In a fit of rage after having made a mistake, Butane keeps attacking Spider-Man, claiming to have plenty of fuel left. Peter could only dodge his attacks, but when he lowered his guard, he kicked him off the building and into a local pet shop. It complicated dodging his attacks when Peter also had to save pets caught in the crossfire. Determined to finish their fight, Butane charges up for one last attack when Peter pulls a fish tank on top of him. When he tries to catch him off guard, Peter slams his head on the ground to knock him out, to which he then hurriedly returns to Oscorp. Peter gets an earful from Whitman when he shows up late for their review. While Whitman was still scolding him, the guard from earlier escorts Peter, claiming that Norman Osborn wanted to see him in his office. The others quickly assumed he was in trouble after the big man called for him. Before he entered his office, Nico texted that she had already gone home, considering Peter was busy at his internship. Peter asks Norman to give him another chance, promising he won't repeat the same mistake. Little did he know that Osborn had caught him on surveillance cameras. He was changing into his costume and discovered Peter was Spider-Man. Thank you for watching. Check out these other videos, and subscribe and tap the bell to be notified about our latest videos. See you next time.